Do you hate binding your quilts? I'm Lisa Lund from Shadow Valley Quilts, and today I'm going to help you take the pain out of binding by walking you through every step to a beautiful, smooth, straight binding. We're going to start with a quilt that's been pieced and quilted and is all ready for the binding. The first step to a beautiful binding is a nicely trimmed and squared quilt. I like to use a couple different rulers to trim my quilts. To square the corners, I use a 12-inch square ruler. This gives a nice semi-long edge in both directions to line up with the quilt edges to make sure the corner is square and straight. After cutting the first cut from the corner, I switch to a 24 by 6-inch ruler to cut the rest of the edge. Since I'm only lining up the ruler with one edge, I don't need to worry about the width of the ruler, and the longer the better in the length for getting a straight cut. I cut all the way through the edge of the quilt, then turn it and use the square ruler to make sure the next corner is square. Continue in this way, alternating between the square ruler on the corners and the long ruler on the edges. If the quilt edge is very uneven, use your best judgment to keep the ruler as straight as possible along the imaginary line from corner to corner of the quilt, while cutting the quilt away as little as possible, but where necessary, to create a straight edge. If you want to add a label to your binding, now is the time to pin it in place. I like to add my labels to the bottom of one of the sides of my quilt. I'm adding 2 labels today, one with my logo and name and one with the year. I'll pin them in place about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the quilt. Then sew the binding right on top over the top of the labels. Now it's time to make the binding. I'm using one of the fabrics from the front of the quilt. These fabrics are from the Winsome collection by Benartex, and they're just lovely for my Dancing Lilies quilt pattern. I like to cut my binding strips using my Stripology extra large ruler, but you can use any quilting ruler. For this quilt, I need 6 2.5-inch strips for my binding. Now, I need to sew my strips into one long strip. When I sew the binding to the quilt, I'll want my walking foot on my machine. The walking foot helps to feed the top and bottom fabrics through the sewing machine evenly, and I think it makes a difference in keeping the binding smooth. I'm going to go ahead and attach the walking foot now. I'll sew the binding strips together, right sides together at a 90-degree angle. Sew a diagonal line from corner to corner where the fabrics intersect. Sew all the strips together, then trim the excess fabric about 1/4 inch from the seams. Now press the seam allowances open. Then press the entire binding strip in half lengthwise. Now the binding is prepared and ready to attach to the quilt. Leaving a 6 to 8-inch tail, line up the raw edges of the binding with the edge of the quilt, and sew the binding to the back of the quilt, using a 1/4 to 3/8-inch seam allowance. Take your time to sew a straight seam. Keep a little bit of tension on the binding as you go. This will go a long way toward preventing a wavy binding. When you get to the corner, stop 1/4 inch away from the edge, and then angle your seam toward the corner. Sew directly through the corner and off the quilt, and cut your thread. Now, Turn the quilt 90 degrees to get ready to sew the next side. Lift the binding straight up and away from the quilt, forming a 45-degree angle. Keeping that angle in place, fold the binding back down along the side of the quilt. This last fold in the binding should be aligned with the horizontal top of the quilt. With your finger, feel the 45-degree fold under the top layer of the binding. Lower the sewing machine needle just below this fold and 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch from the right edge of the quilt. Back stitch and continue sewing the binding to the edge of the quilt. When you get to the next corner, follow the same procedure. Stop 1/4 inch from the edge, sew through the corner of the quilt, turn the quilt, lift the binding straight up, forming an angle, then fold it straight back down. Making sure to backstitch, start sewing right next to the angle you can feel through the binding. Continue in this way all around the quilt. When you come to the labels, carefully sew right over them, removing the pins at the last moment to make sure they stay in place. Sometimes I think the hardest part of the binding is maneuvering the bulk of the quilt. Remember to keep a little bit of tension on the binding as you sew. So stop sewing about 10 to 12 inches before you reach the place you started and cut your thread. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to join your binding to itself neatly and professionally. So make sure the binding tail from the starting spot reaches to just a little further than the midpoint of the gap. Trim it if necessary. Now lay the starting tail flat and overlap the ending tail over it. We need to trim the ending tail so it overlaps the starting tail by 2.5 inches, or the width of the binding strip. You can use a ruler, but I think it's easier to use a little scrap of the binding to measure it with. Now, a little tip that will help your binding lay a little smoother is to actually cut the ending tail about 1/8 of an inch short, So if you're using a binding scrap to measure, cut the tail so it overlaps a distance about 1/8 of an inch shorter than the width of the strip. If you're using a ruler, cut it so it overlaps about 2 3/8 inches. When we're finished sewing the ends together, it will be just a tiny bit tight and will lay nice and smooth. Once the ends are cut to the right length, you're going to pin the quilt to itself to close the gap between the spots where the binding is attached. This will make working with the binding tails much easier. Open up both tails and orient them right side up. Now fold the bottom strip up to form a 90-degree angle with the top strip. Pin the strips together and sew diagonally across the area that overlaps. Connecting the outside edges. Don't sew from the outside corner to the inside corner. Before you trim any of that extra fabric, take out all the pins from the binding and the quilt and make sure there aren't any weird twists in the binding. Then trim the little extra triangle from the binding. Finger press the seam allowance flat and sew the binding to the quilt to close the gap. Now we'll take a minute to press the binding away from the back of the quilt. Take care on the corners to press the miter nicely. Now we'll clip the binding to the front of the quilt. You can clip all the way around if you want to, but I usually just clip the corners. Trim any threads you need to and take some time to form a nice miter. With the corners prepared, it's time to sew the binding to the front of the quilt. It's helpful to use a stiletto or some kind of tool to maneuver the binding into place. My favorite is this old Dole seam ripper I've had since junior high home ec. Line up the edge of the binding to just barely cover the seam line from sewing the binding to the back of the quilt. Then sew as close as you can to the edge of the binding. Check the back of the quilt to see where your stitches are landing. The goal is for your stitches to be on the edge of the binding on both the front and the back. But don't stress if they veer onto the back of the quilt from time to time. Practice makes progress. Take your time and try to keep your stitch line as straight as you can. When you get to the corner, just take out the clips and, using the stiletto, keep the miter as even as possible as you sew. Turn the corner with the needle down and sew the next edge of the quilt. Trim up any extra threads and you're done. The best part about binding is the result is a completely finished quilt. Such a great feeling. Thanks for joining me for this tutorial on binding. This is Lisa Lunn from Shadow Valley Quilts. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.